Well, good morning, Jim, Pawoodsman's channel. Welcome back for another episode this morning. Today we're doing a short video on, well, hopefully it's short. You know how I can ramble on. But doing a video on how to utilize that basic first aid kit you have. I got a request this morning on one of my PMs from Stu, better known as Spannernuts, one of the subscribers I belong to, and vice versa. And he said, you know, we've seen how you downsized your first aid kit. And he said, it'd be nice for some of us that really don't know a whole lot about how to utilize that, if you wouldn't mind doing a video on. As you can probably tell from my username, Medic Jimmer, I'm a paramedic by trade. That's what I do full time. Today happens just to be a day off, so I had time to do this for you folks. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and show you what we're going to do with that stuff in the first aid kit. I used to carry a lot of stuff. My first aid kit initially when I was backpacking was like 2.5 pounds. I had everything from nasal trumpets for respiratory, suturing equipment, and I had to think realistically. Is this intervention I'm going to do out there 20 miles in going to make a whole lot of difference for that person? Is it going to actually save their life? You know, 20 miles in, by the time you send somebody out, if you're out of cell phone range or them to find you and get to you, it's going to take a period of time. And if someone's, example in cardiac arrest, we're not superhuman, folks. We can only do compressions and breathe, artificial ventilate a patient for so long without ourselves getting exhausted. Unless that person is extremely young or healthy and does not have a very extensive history of medical problems, the likelihood of us reversing that situation is very slim. What you see on TV by watching ER and Grey's Anatomy and House, I'm sorry, is not realistic. Yes, lives are saved on a day-to-day basis, but the frequency is very nil. I'm sorry to say that. When it comes to cardiac events, it takes all time. We have a saying, time regard to the muscle of the heart, and if we don't get definitive care to you within a short period of time, the likelihood of it being reversed and being we can save you, but what is your value of life going to be after that? You know, what I do is to a point, and then I have to take you to the hospital, and what they do is another step in your recovery. And like I said, being 20 miles in the field or greater, the likelihood is, you know, is slim. So what we're going to touch base on is basic stuff like a cut from your knife, a blister, a splinter, you know, maybe a bone fracture. I will step up different levels of cuts, you know, how to care for it. If you do go ahead and take care of it at a quick enough time frame, the likelihood of that person maybe losing that limb or bleeding to death, we can address. So I'm going to show you stuff that you can actually address, and it's going to make a difference. Let me just say that. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get the camera repositioned here. Point it down here. Take another sip of my coffee before it gets cold. Try to get this where I want it. Alright. I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is my injury. I took a dry erase and put a red mark there. This is just going to be the simple, basic one to start ourselves off. I had to keep an eye on the clock too. I got to do some things this afternoon, take my mother-in-law to the doctor, so can't miss that. Alright. We got a cut on our finger. No big deal. Want to at least take the time to clean it off. If you got some camp soap with you, wonderful. If not, treated water. Don't go to the closest stream and just start cleaning your hand. There's bacteria. That's you can take it. You can not only intrude your body with it by drinking it, but you're also can absorb it through the skin and open wounds. So take the time at least to boil that water or treat it with a filter, etc., etc., your normal fashion you treat your water. So you want to go ahead and clean it off. Example, if you don't have any treated water, sometimes we carry these syringes pre-filled with normal saline. I can just go ahead and flush the wound off. Oops. Trying not to get it all over the place. And, or I can just take an empty syringe and take my container of water I'd have on me, draw it out when I need just filtered water already treated, and go ahead and clean it. Once I do that, just go ahead and dry off the area of the wound and apply your bandage of choice. So that's just a basic finger wound. Superficial, not very deep, not needing stitches. Now, if for some reason that wound would be deeper and it's not able to be controlled with a bandage, you want to apply direct pressure. First, place something over the wound. Direct pressure. Elevate it like I'm doing here. You want to more or less have it above the elbow of the heart. And just hold it there for a couple, maybe a minute. And the bleeding should subside. Now, if it's bleeding like a sieve at the beginning, go ahead and do this step first. Once you get the bleeding stopped, you can go ahead and clean it, get any debris out of it, and then go ahead and dress it. But, okay, we went ahead and we applied our direct pressure, got the bleeding to stop, flushed it, applied our bandage, our Band-Aid, and we're good to go. Well, bleeding's not stopping. It's pretty, or it has stopped, but it's pretty deep, and every time you move it, it's opening up and it's starting to bleed more and more. Go ahead and apply your direct pressure, and then you can go to what's called a butterfly bandage. Now, I'm going to bring up while I'm opening this. If we would be doing this on your friend or hiking partner, you want to take the time and have a pair of rubber gloves with you and put them on. For this demonstration purposes, I'm not going to wear them just for myself. You're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting the person you're treating from any type of bacteria you may have. You know, there's a lot of nasties out there. Not only HIV, hepatitis B, AIDS, all that good stuff. There's others, so. Okay. This is a butterfly bandage. You're going to go ahead and, without dropping it, apply it on the opposite side of the laceration, while putting tension on your finger, and you can also press the other side together. Because what you're trying to do is keep that closed. And that should keep that closed enough that the bleeding stops. There's also things called Steri-Strips that I like to get some. If for some reason this would be a larger wound, I'd be probably putting 2 or 3 of these across. Then once I do that, to keep it clean, a Band-Aid, some gauze, just regular first aid tape. If you don't have first aid tape, some duct tape, you know, or just your bandana, you know, rip a piece off, wrap it around there, tie a bow in it. Simple.